Well, hello there and welcome. Now, usually I'm bursting with energy, totally ready to share exciting new things with you. But tonight is a little bit different. I want you to get as comfortable as you possibly can. Go ahead and wrap yourself in a warm blanket, sink deep into your pillows, and just let your whole body feel heavy. Welcome to a very special, deeply relaxing explainer. Tonight, we aren't going to look at anything fast-paced or complicated. Instead, we're going to step inside a beautiful, calming story, taking a journey to a place called Sleepy Forest, and just letting it slowly guide us into a state of total rest. So, tell me, are you having a little trouble sleeping down there? If you are, I really want you to know that you are absolutely not the only one. There once was a silly little crocodile who felt exactly the same way. He was completely full of this restless energy, just tumbling around, juggling acorns, and totally unable to quiet his busy mind. But underneath all that extra energy, he just felt a little bit alone in the dark. Because it's literally so hard to fall asleep when your mind is racing and you feel like you're the only one awake in the whole world. But I promise you, you are never really alone. Well, when the crocodile looked up into that dark night sky, he saw something pretty wonderful. A face right there in the moon, complete with fluffy ears and a velvety nose. It was the Koala Moon. The Koala Moon just smiled down because, well, he's there exactly for moments like this. He whispered down to the little crocodile, "Whenever someone needs a bedtime story, like you, my stories are kind of magic." He actually promised to tell a story that wasn't, too exciting, but just magical enough to help him wind down. And tonight, I'm going to share that exact magic with you. But before the Koala Moon could even begin his story, he asked the little crocodile to do something absolutely crucial. He asked him to prepare his body for rest. Okay, let's gently dive into this together. If you haven't already, just slowly and softly close your eyes. You can just listen to the sound of my voice. Now, let's take a slow, calming breath in, just filling up your chest. And now, let it out gently, so softly. Let's do that one more time, okay? Deep breath in. And let it all the way out, feeling your shoulders completely drop. You're doing so well. So the Koala Moon story actually began with the little crocodile noticing this large hole near an old oak tree. It was big enough for even the silliest of crocodiles to shuffle right on into. But as he crawled inside, he realized it wasn't a dark, dingy tunnel at all. It was basically a magical tunnel. The walls were completely covered in tiny, glow-in-the-dark stars, and there were these gentle fireflies gathered inside little lanterns, casting a really soft, warm light just to guide his way. Imagine just being surrounded by that slow, blinking, golden light as you crawl deeper and deeper into a place of absolute safety. And as the tunnel kind of twisted and turned, the crocodile discovered just the most wonderful colors. We're talking glowing lilac mushrooms casting this gentle purple haze. He passed by these really soft yellow moonflowers just blooming quietly in the dim light. And scattered all along the earthen floor were little glittering gemstones, twinkling exactly like the stars above. It was basically a path perfectly designed to make his eyes feel wonderfully heavy. When the crocodile finally emerged from that tunnel, he found himself in this beautiful, lantern-lit woodland, and looking down at him from a tree was a friendly little koala named Coco. Coco climbed down, shook the crocodile's foot, and welcomed him. Coco smiled so warmly because this place is very special. Sleepy Forest, Coco said, always brings people here who need a rest. You see, whenever you feel tired, whenever your busy mind just really needs a break, this forest appears. You are completely safe here, and you're exactly where you are supposed to be. Next, Coco actually led the crocodile over to a cozy cabin with a porch, where a grandpa koala was just gently snoring away in a rocking chair. They walked right into a garden that was incredibly peaceful. The silly crocodile just laid right down on his belly. The grass was wonderfully soft and wispy, and it just lightly tickled his tummy. He rolled onto his back, sinking deep into the earth, just watching a single fluffy white cloud float slowly, ever so slowly, across the great blue sky. Coco really wanted his new friend to feel completely at home, so he had literally the most perfect, relaxing evening planned out for them. They'd start with a late afternoon sunset picnic, then move into the early evening to build a cozy fort. As nightfall arrives, they'd sit by a campfire right under the stars, before finally winding down with a warm mug of hot cocoa at bedtime. It's this steady, comforting path, taking us step by step away from the busy day and right into a deep, peaceful sleep. Let's start with that late afternoon picnic. Coco brought out this beautiful blanket and some sandwiches. But instead of playing or running around, he simply lay back and took a deep, satisfied breath. The crocodile lay right next to him. They watched the sky together. The warm, orange sun was lazily slinking down toward the horizon, and the clouds slowly turned the color of candy floss pink. Honestly, just picture it. All they could hear was the gentle, rhythmic trill of crickets in the grass and the soft, sleepy tweets of the birds settling in for the night. Then, as the evening rolled in, it was time to build a cozy sleepover fort. You know the kind. Coco and the crocodile used 4 sturdy sticks and draped a soft yellow blanket over the top to make their tent. Inside, they piled up plush pillows, heavy cushions, and fuzzy blankets. They even strung up delicate fairy lights. And because the blanket was yellow, the lantern light from outside made the inside of their little makeshift tent glow with this warm, golden, cozy light. A safe little bubble for the night. Just the perfect nest. Right outside their golden fort, Coco's dad actually helped them build a gentle little campfire. The orange flames danced and flickered, casting a shimmering, warm light that seeped right into the crocodile's scales, just melting away any leftover tension. Above them, the smudgy glow of the Milky Way twisted across the dark night sky. Coco even brought out this little pink ukulele and quietly strummed a soft, rhythmic song, perfectly matching the slow, steady crackle of the wood in the fire. Now, think back for a second. Remember how that silly crocodile felt just a little while ago? So full of restless energy, just tossing and turning? But now, as he sits with his friend Coco, watching the fire slowly settle down to quiet, glowing embers, he feels totally different. His eyelids are drooping. His limbs feel wonderfully heavy and relaxed. He's absolutely no longer fighting the night. He's just letting the calmness of the glowing embers wash entirely over him. So, with a great big yawn from the crocodile, Coco gently pulled him to his feet and led him inside the cabin. And waiting for them by the fireside was a tray of velvety hot chocolate. The crocodile snuggled deep into a nest of blankets on a squishy sofa. He held the warm mug in his hands, feeling that heat just spread right through his fingers. He took a sip of that rich cocoa, tasting the sweet whipped cream and a soft marshmallow, listening to the quiet murmur of Coco's family in the next room. It was just the taste of pure comfort. With warm, full tummies, it was finally time to get ready for bed. The crocodile washed his face with sweet-smelling bubblegum soap, the warm water making him feel extra clean and ready for his pillow. Then he stood next to Coco and they slowly brushed every single pearly white tooth. Finally, he slipped into a brand new pair of pajamas. They were a delightful woodland theme, totally covered in tiny little squirrels and acorns. Wrapped up in that fresh, soft fabric, he just shuffled in his slippers back out to their glowing golden fort. They each climbed right into their own nest of pillows. The night air was cool, but their bodies were perfectly warm under the thick, furry blankets. "Night-night, silly," Coco whispered. "Good night, Coco," the crocodile softly replied. An owl hooted quietly in the distance, a gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, and the sleepy moon shone down over their fort. They closed their eyes, their breathing slowed down, and they drifted into the sweetest of dreams. What magical place will you visit in your dreams tonight? Sleep well.